that you don't see no self. And what is covered with no self? Well, now you have an attitude towards your mom. It's true that she's arrogant. But what if you at times ignore her, not listen to her, or just even if you don't agree with your mom's ideas, why not you say not in agreement, or you just, okay, thanks for explaining that, you just walk away. Use those tactics and come back to me in 2 weeks. And she came in actually. First she had difficulty and she really wanted to argue with her mom. Because she is the mother's daughter, right? And I told her, because you put your blame on your mother, don't you carry some of her genes in you? Wow, yeah, that's true, yeah. So, 2 weeks, actually she didn't come back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so. She came back. That time I had come back to London from Sri Lanka. And she was very calm and she brought me, apple and grapes and lots of things, fruit basket and some flowers too. And that, I think she has changed, that's why. But she had to comb her hair and dressed up very nice, calm, and spoke very slowly, and I said, what happened? Now, during the first 5-6 days, my mother was yelling inside her room. Yelling at whom? I know, yelling at me, but because she was angry that I couldn't go argue with her. So what happened? Well, during the first few days I couldn't sleep because then I put my so that I would put my earphones and so that I would listen to music, calm music, relaxation music, and I would sleep. And then maybe 2 weeks later or something, 10 days, 11 days later something she mentioned, so that when she woke up early morning, it was a Saturday, and she went to the kitchen to make her bed tea, and she came and started patting on her shoulder and said, let me make you a cup of tea. And she did, then both were having tea, and then, sorry, I think you are not angry with anymore, but I am still angry with you. Sorry. And she said, but I had advised her not to remind her the kind of behavior that she would have during the first few days. Otherwise it would lead to back to the status quo, right? I never wanted that. And then so that what happens now? So Bhante, how do you see me right now? I said, you look calm. Oh, wait a minute. That is not what I'm supposed to say. Now we are much closer to yourself. Because she could remove the most unnecessary layers of her perception, right? Judgmental, angry. And so that now that then I told her, the calmer you become, the more tranquil you become, more peace you will become within, you get closer to no self. Because you have to remove conventional things layer by layer. And then now you are a little much selfless now. And even when your mother advised you, you took it personal. Even her advice was offensive to you. Now, even if your mother yelled at you, even though you are not around, but still she did that in loud enough, so that you could hear her, and she was still trying to get you back into an argument. You didn't even do that. You easily disregarded that. In case you let the ego come in between, ego take over, and you should have even go to her and knock on her door and then force her to open the door, you could join in her room to continue the argument. See how selfless you have become now? You are much more selfless now. So that you are much closer to no self now. See the whole process that I told her. It's a whole process. Not you can't explain that with one word. So that's how now she's happy with that. She's happy. And because she had read lots of books on no self. And then so that this time when I planned to go there, she would come over and she text me and say that now she has read lots of books on no self, and she had highlighted certain statements by those authors, and to her, those are statements of ego. And these authors, they have written on no self, but at the same time, they didn't know that they had incorporated their ego between the lines. Just like when I speak, if you listen to my words carefully, you would see, you could locate where I talked about my ego. It happens quite spontaneously. So that's the difference between self and no self, selflessness. Buddha used the language of selflessness. I think I did mention that in one of our videos, but this is relevant here. Like when Buddha was thirsty, and he would say, Ananda, he would asking his personal attendant, Venerable Ananda, Buddha is thirsty. Can you bring him some water? So that my grandfather, he used that same language. He was an enlightened, for which I know. Because of certain things I know. He was an enlightened, but he had read lots of Buddhism. And then I know in certain cultures, especially I came up some people from Burma, Myanmar. It's fascinating that most of the Burmese people that I met, they would speak about themselves in the third person. Third person. I know one girl in Canada. Every time I'm in Calgary, Bante, this is so and so speaking. Can so and so come see you tonight? So and so is willing to bring you fried rice. So and so is tired. But she doesn't pretend. It comes quite naturally. And then so that she told me that she learned that from her mom. And when her mom spoke, every time her mom speaks with her, and she would say, "Your mom. This is your mom," and she would never say me. I am. So that's cultural, but it makes sense. There is something. Yeah.
It's helpful.
It's helpful. Yeah.
Think of yourself and give yourself some
That's right. Yeah.
distance,
and then you distance yourself from yourself.
Yeah.
Some distance there. Yeah.
To target that, right?
Yeah.
I have a question about the line between non-actionism and, I guess, enlightenment. So, like, when the Buddha would say he was thirsty, for example, there was this personality that existed, and those karmas needed to exhaust themselves. So, the Buddha was enlightened, but there were still these bodily karmas that existed that had to be
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
And on that same note, too, the monkey mind still exists for an enlightened person, in the sense the mind is vomiting up whatever thoughts.
Yeah, because the body is a karmic product.
Yes. And they're just then not becoming attached to them. So they
Exactly,
see that they
yeah.
arise and they fall.
Right.
They become separated.
And they would have pain.
Yes.
The Buddha had pain, but he was not complaining. And then, so once he had internal bleeding, and he got kind of hemorrhoid something. And one doctor attended, Buddha was smiling. And when Ananda was shocked, and he was telling the other monk, if I had that medical condition, I would die. But Buddha is still smiling, and Buddha said, and then later on they would ask her, do you actually have pain? I mean, do you feel the pain? And Buddha, yes, I do feel, but I don't take it personally. So it doesn't affect me. Actually, I had difficulty believing that, but years ago I came up with that man from China or somewhere, and so that the doctors wouldn't, he had some surgeries and doctors wouldn't give him anesthesis, and then so that without anesthetic procedures, and then he would just stand his hand and the doctors would perform surgery. He said, I don't feel any pain. And the doctor, you must feel Yes, the feeling is there, but there's a feeling, but it's not pain. It's not pain. There could be some even conventional people. So, yeah, what matters is that you take it personal, out of egoistic nature.
And then, so like you have that karmic storehouse of your karmic seeds, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And upon enlightenment, it's not that those are exhausted. They still exist.
Is it, and then they would still produce karmic effect as long as you are living, and then with your death again you are not coming back to life, so that there will be, but so that there's no new karma that you make.
Because when it shows up, it's dissipated. So-
again.
But where does it go then?
Which one?
The karmas that you're putting off, such if enlightenment's realized, what happens to that?
The previous karma?
Accrued karma that
Accrued karma
doesn't
still-
affect,
yeah.
that doesn't apply, but what happens to it then, right?
Yeah, but they would. This is what happened. As a karmic outcome, and he had a headache, a back pain. But when he had back pain, he would go and rest. And people would ask him whether he was in pain. He would say, there is back pain, it is not painful. Meaning, he doesn't take it. In order to understand in a better sense, I think one of my aunties in Sri Lanka, she's so sensitive, right? And she's diabetic, and she was put in hospital, and the doctors had to struggle for like few days to give her some vaccine. She was scared of needles. Whereas when I got leptospirosis, the liver disease, and I got too many vaccines that the nurses found it difficult to locate a point to put the vaccine. Then I said, I grabbed it and I just did this myself on this side. Then I prepared myself. Then okay, let me do. Then she was, I did that. Then okay, look at that. It's not painful. It is extremely painful. But I made my mind to test it. I know for sure when it pierces through, I would see the pain, because based on my prior experience, when you injected medicine into me, then I knew that. And on the second day, she injected at the same point, so injured the point, the place. So I did that myself. And then I thought honestly, I felt extreme pain, but then I let my motivation to take over. Probably I wanted to show off, probably. But I really wanted to test. So the pain was there. But again I thought about it. Okay, the last time when she put the injection, then I was complaining. But this time I wasn't complaining at all. Even though pain, that caused lots of pain. Because I wanted to try that myself. So that for the instantaneous, it was the motivation that helped me reduce the pain.
I heard of a doctor who was caught in traffic. He was headed to the hospital because he had an appendicitis.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew it was getting bad and he was going to make it. So I don't know, he must have had some tools with him.
Right.
But he cut himself open and took it up.
To be proud, yeah.
Yeah.
So that you need
Apparently without his anesthetic.
anesthetic, yeah. Probably some people would do that. Is the determination. We call that resolution. Resolution, yeah.
Two arrows, right? Two arrow teaching too.
Yeah, right. That's true, yeah.
Did the Buddha not say that good and evil transcend upon enlightenment?
He said that once, even though evil is there, it doesn't get affected by that. Because he doesn't purposely acquire any new good, but what he does is he removes bad, evil. And he even gives up on certain good tendencies. For example, Buddha are never concerned with joy, happiness. Why? they want to get rid of dukkha or sense of unfulfillment or pain, suffering. They are not, and they also have no value. They don't see any value in pain, in joy. Why? Because when you are joyful, and the next moment you have to struggle to keep it, so that you will, the outcome would be the same. Joyful people end up in pain. Painful people live in pain. It's the same thing again. That's why you say suffering is inevitable, pain is optional, it's an American saying. Suffering is inevitable, pain is optional.
But the other way around, right? Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
That's true. But I can go with both actually.
The opposite of something is usually just as true.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, any other questions?
Well, would there happen to be a list of the absolute truths? Are they nearly as innumerable as the conventional? Obviously, conventional.
You could come up with some examples. So Buddha just talked about the true truths in general terms. Because why? Because there are, you can use any life situation as an example to look at both. So that's why he didn't specifically mention, except that he would just use some examples. You could use any life situation to look at the true truths. And then it's always good to start with this term, degree of selflessness. How selfless I am. And people, in paper, you don't have to be Buddhist and someone okay, don't take it personal. That's what people say. So, especially people who are new to criticisms, they can stand even the slightest positive criticism. Right? People, except politicians, they can face anything. Right?
Mate, how, so this is a very rhetorical question, but how does one separate or differentiate between niyatta versus nidatta? So how do I know what I conceive or leave as niyatta is absolutely niyatta?
Okay, great question, thank you. And actually that is when Buddha says you need the assistance of a teacher.
Right.
And that's when Buddha used this term. Thank you for that. Can I erase some of them? Maybe this list. Kalama Sadom. We don't need any more to tell us we know what to do. So, you know that term, but for everyone else. Kalyana Mitra, one word. Also Sanskrit word Mitra. You need a trustworthy spiritual friend to know, especially someone's knowledge is higher.
So ultimately you have to trust someone. This ultimately comes down to, it's not blind faith, but I guess
It's more like
confidence.
It's sattva, confidence.
Some confidence in someone.
In someone, yeah. But not blind faith. Because if it's blind faith, you would believe whatever he says.
Right.
But you have to question him, because your motive, what you want is to learn, so that the person who answers must be qualified to be your friend. In case he gets offended by your questions, then you are not supposed to stay with him anymore. Why? Because then he's not answering, he's not helping you.
So I guess that answers my second question. How do you know the Kalyana Mitra? You pretty much have to question the person.
Right. And what Buddha says, don't trust someone all at once. Just ask some questions, and then you can question him, and it takes some time to figure out whether he is qualified to help you.
Discernment, right?
Yeah. So it takes some time. For example, I have few Kalyana Mitras in my life, trustworthy friends. Whenever I have some emotional problems, question, speak to my younger sister. And I have another lady who is like 5 years older to me, and then I also ask, there are two more male friends, 2 men, I ask them. And so that, because sometimes you need not just one kalyana, you need few. Because when it comes to dharma, probably you can have someone. But at times again, and Buddha says, not everyone is qualified. Even some arahants you can learn from. Because enlightened people, because they are different people have different expertise. For example, and Buddha says that someone who is able to explain. So these 4 things. So before that, you need motivate. Okay, this is the way. You need to see Dhamma and Artha. Dharma and Artha. First, read the Dharma and don't just accept it. First examine the Dharma, then examine the meaning. So, 2 things. Examine the meaning means simply because it's a sutra and you are not supposed to accept it, because so that people who never want to investigate further, examine further, and they would just accept a certain teaching out of good faith. I mean, and then when you study the sutra, particular teaching at length, so that you also clarify certain doubts that you have, and then you go back to that person who accept the teaching and say to him, you know what? You are the first person to introduce this teaching to me, and it is so good, but I don't understand this teaching at this point. And so that that person will get offended. Why? Because that person believes in the sutra out of deep devotion. And to him, to that somebody, to them, you are offending. You are offending the Buddha, but actually you are not. Because Buddha recommended that. Don't stop by simply memorizing or reading Dharma. Find the artha or the meaning. And it comes in the kindred sayings. Kindred sayings, so that division on 2 factors, dukkha nipata. And Buddha said there are there are 2 things that you need to think about when you study, when you practice. Think of the Dharma itself. Study the Dharma. Investigate the Dharma and investigate the meaning. 2 things. So the Dharma is the scripture or the text. Artha or Artha is what the Dharma or the scripture means. And then in case you have a question, meaning you are a true investigator. You are a true examiner.
Come and see for yourself, right? What is the classic polyphrase?
Yeah, that's Ehipasika. Yeah, Ehipasika. Come and see.
And then with the second in the 7 factors of enlightenment, the investigation in that, what is the poly for that, and how does that differ from the Kim, the top thing that's circled, the truth seeker?
Samadhi,
Yeah.
Paramata. So that always your truth seeking process is conventional, because your journey is conventional. So
the second with the investigation, the 7 factors of enlightenment.
yeah, that's Dhamma Vicaya, right? Yeah, that's one. Yeah, Dhamma Vicaya. the 7 factors of enlightenment. And there are 37 factors of enlightenment in few groups, but they are in groups. We will discuss 37 factors of enlightenment next semester. And then it's good to read, there's a free book available by Tanis Sarovic of San Diego. He's an American monk. He's well known as a top monk because he teaches Vinaya, Buddhist monastic rules and regulations. He's a very rigorous monk. And his book is Wings to Awakening. Wings to Awakening. There are 37 wings. You can fly with some of them to awakening. You can fly and you can locate enlightenment. 37 factors of enlightenment. He called them wings to awakening. And out of them there are a few groups. And then that Dhamma Vichaya, it corresponds to here, the both actually. Vichaya. Dharma is Dharma here, teaching, scripture. Vichaya means inquiry. Investigate or inquire, Vichaya. Vichaya literally means you inquire someone, you ask someone. You ask someone with the intention of learning, getting things clarified. That's called Vichaya. You ask someone. So that's the investigation, because you cannot get enlightened with doubts remaining somewhere. Those are called building blocks. So that if I am a true Kalyana Mitra, I am a true trustworthy spiritual friend, even when you start by saying, okay Bhante, I am going to ask you a weird question. Okay, wait a minute, there's nothing called weird questions. I must commend you, and then I will counter your term. No weird questions. Okay, continue. Okay, go ahead and say. Because you find it a weird question. To me, it is not a weird question. You are supposed to ask that question in order to get things clarified, because you are inquiring into. That's called inquiring mind. So Vichaya is to inquire. Inquiry into the Dharma or investigation. But as I said, and to his question, because you need a good friend, but at times you can learn from someone, and at times a certain teacher cannot go beyond a certain point, probably that's all he knows. Sometimes there are language teachers. They teach only for 6 months, and they say, okay, I am going to recruit the next group. Why? Because he cannot teach anymore. That's all he knows. Only 6 months. I know by experience.
You only need to be one step ahead of the student.
Oh, right, yeah. Always.
Yeah.
That's why in the academia, right, you know that in college, in the university college, everyone knows those. So that in order to teach bachelor students, you need to have at least a master's. Right? In order to teach a master's, you need a doctoral degree, PhD. And in academia also, because you need that status. Even in academia.
Hopefully, learning is more knowledge and experience.
Exactly, that's right. When it is a paper qualification, it doesn't work. Sometimes some people get in trouble with instructors. So,
And then postdoc.
postdoctoral, yeah. I know one girl from Malaysia. She's a professional student. Now so far she has 11 degrees. 5 PhDs. She lives off doctoral funds. Because she gets lots of funding from different countries. That's her hobby. She writes thesis. She doesn't write any normal books. She writes thesis, and she can formulate a thesis when sometimes for fun. When I was in Madagascar, she came over and subject. I would just suggest certain topics and and grab a piece of paper and then this is an outline, okay. And to me, so perfect that if I ask someone, he could charge me at least $300 for that thesis formulation. She's so professional. She called herself a professional researcher. 11 degrees. What happened? So then I said, okay, the next time you can you can decorate your room walls with certificates. So now, yes, inquiry mind. That's called Dhamma Vicaya. You need to inquire into the Dharma. Otherwise, you can benefit. That's when, actually, the more you inquire, you get higher degree of reason to faith, confidence. Because when things become clear to you, and quite naturally you build more confidence in the Buddha. In this teaching, okay, it makes sense.
Is it the verified faith?
It's verified, yeah.
Right faith and verified
Mhm.
faith.
Yeah. So that you don't get, how to say, I know in Canada it happened. One woman told me that she would attend, she learned, teach Buddhism from one of the monks, and later he distraught and married a girl from her audience. And then some people were angry. But this woman, she would continue to visit him. And so I went to see my guru, Mr. So-and-so and his wife. This time I'm making a bigger cake for both. But to her, she hasn't lost her faith, because why? She's, in her words, okay, he is my teacher. But some people who followed him, probably in faith, I don't know, or maybe a different degree of like verified faith or blind faith, but I'm not qualified to define that. But anyway, some people just walked away. And they said they would never ever go to that temple. Why? Because we are so angry that he left us. Then I spoke with a couple of people. So, what about the new monk? Well, he is not good as he is. So, meaning is codependency, right? Why? You put the blame on him, but you depend on him. That's why in your inner mind you want him back. I think in psychology we call it codependency. So, otherwise there's no point hating the new monk. You have hardly spoken with him. Poor monk, but you hate him. Why you hate him? Because why? The previous one is gone. Why do you was him responsible? Well, that's true, but he's not as good as the previous one. Then okay, stop putting the blame on the one who destroyed himself. Okay, and then I confuse them. So that's how that's the way we perceive it. That's what does to us when we have some kind of faith. So, but to that lady, it's been few years, but she still visits him. And then I think when I called, I think in a few months' time, he said she would organize a group of friends on her birthday, and then she would ask his teacher and his wife to come over. So that then I told, don't tell your other friends that he is bringing his wife as well. They would still come to the event, but not to attend. Don't let them come, because otherwise they may come, they can even, so they could ruin your birthday party. Right? Know whom to be invited, I told her. In good faith, I told her. Then she made a list. So that's how it is. But you can put the blame on those ardent followers, supporters, who are now sad and angry that their teacher destroyed. Nobody, you can't put the blame on the teacher either. Because people assume that Upananda is a monk, he is supposed to remain in growth forever. Even my family members ask me, they know my answer. Even if you force me to disrobe, I'm not the one who's going to disrobe. I love the robe so much that I'm not going to. And then, oh, we didn't think about that far, sorry. Right, so that's how it is. That's when it is based on those, this truth, judgment criteria, whatever, from the Kalama, outward appearance. Right, to them, to her, to most of other followers, that monk was like a saint. I know him personally. Actually, he's very attractive, very charismatic. That's the term. Very charismatic. Somehow, that girl, she was fond of his teachings first, and then his voice and appearance. Probably somehow they step over the boundaries, whatever. So that's because of masquerading tendency. Probably even to this day, probably the ex-monk would say, because she came to me because of my teachings. And she would still think that, okay, I got this monk this robe and I married him because I love his teachings. And they could still assume that it is because of the teaching. So the masquerading tendencies are such that they would continue to eat the teaching that bonded them together. Not romantic, not romance, not sensual feelings. So that's how they are, or mind. Quite natural, because as I said, attachments are natural. They are neither good nor bad. Based on the kind of path that you take, so as a layperson, you need those attachments. If I say to you, okay, everything is suffering and leave family life and come to the monastery and get ordained. If I say that, I'm teaching you the wrong Buddhism. I'm teaching you the monks Buddhism. Monastic Buddhism, not the lay people's Buddhism, right? I just explain things, you have a choice. 429. So any last questions? Sorry? Because you can, in case you have some questions, have them formulated so that you can ask tomorrow. So today we discussed, this morning we touched upon the humanizing divinity. And we discussed the 4 Brahma Viharas. This moment about the truth, the scriptural approach. How Buddha refused to be the authority of the truth. How he never wanted his scripture to take over be the authority when he's gone. And then so that you have a right to investigate, inquire, as long as you have doubts. So that is the practice. That is about truth. So when you still have some blind faith, it is quite natural. Blind faith is natural. But if you need to move up, then you need to study the teachings, and you need the assistance of a kalyana, a good friend. But again, don't build up a relationship with that your mentor. Don't motivate yourself too much to go after that teacher, right? Perhaps, and be sympathetic, be respectful, but at the same time ask questions whenever you have questions. I'm not offending, sir, ma'am, this is the question I have, sorry if I am stupid. That's the word, sometimes I use that term. I respect the person by calling myself stupid. Probably I'm asking just like, maybe I'm asking a stupid question, weird question. Okay, I'm ignorant. No, it's okay, good question. And they don't answer. So that is called the Dhamma Vichaya. Right? See now, maybe I gave you some sense of what the truth is in Buddhism. The approach to truth and the truth itself. Truth itself is, what is that? The absolute and ultimate, conventional, but again, in terms of nothingness and nothing and everything. in terms of value attribution. That's the term, value attribution. It's a whole process. Attribute higher value and then you take it, you devalue, you attribute another higher level of value. For example, you broke up with your girlfriend, boyfriend, 6 years later, you find yourself going with him for a movie. You are back in the relationship something. What happened then? So that is what it is. So value attribution. So people do that a lot, especially in criminal families too, I know that. Some men they are all criminal minded and they are always drunkard. They only speak pleasant words, they want to make love with their female partner. And minutes later, he's the same typical guy torturing her and leaving, and he would come back again maybe in a few days. That's also value attribution. Thank you. Have a good evening.